Welcome back to the Three Shots Podcast studio and our awkward homecoming dance photo equivalent of reading the news. I'm your host, Joey Crypto, and my not financial advice continues to haunt even myself on a daily basis. In today's top stories, how deep has the earworm burrowed into the hollowed out husk of what was once a majestic apple of a tech company? And has Steve Jobs started rolling in his grave? Or perhaps will he be cloning himself ad nauseum, ad infinitum, until all have been assimilated and Keanu Reeves has to star in a blockbuster trilogy to save us all? The latest and yet another high profile for crypto folk, not the real world. Phishing attack took place on Twitter, but I thought Elon Musk was solving all the problems. Maybe his memo is still in the mail with my missing lube that didn't show up in time to save me from Voyager's very infected and very dry interest rates. And finally, I grasp at straws yet again with a metaphor involving the Fed and boxing. You'll be left wondering, did these jokes even work? Weren't those just similes and not metaphors? Does Joey Crypto wear a belt with those suspenders? Because he's probably should with a grip on reality that loose. That and more as we dive headfirst into the murky 3-inch deep puddle that is the news. In case you were wondering, Apple is still a tech giant with more oversight than we would ever allow any governing body to have, with the exception of the governing bodies that make the shit that make our lives easy and entertain us. A recent CNBC article stated that Apple has reaffirmed its stance on NFT marketplaces and how much they're limiting one's ability to make purchases anywhere except through Apple's in-app purchasing system. I'm sure it has nothing to do with safety and security. Let's try one more time. I'm sure it has to do with safety and security and not with the fact that Apple gets about 30% of all in-app purchases. Yeah, you think Apple was making billions of dollars making iPhones? Apple phones, tablets, and computers are the streets and infrastructure of Appletown. These devices are the highways and byways used to traffic all the shit that you don't need directly into the void of your mind and the unfillable damaged hoarder cavity you call a home. They're making billions off the tenants being forced to rent space in the best real estate with access to the best clientele. They're making billions of dollars on the notion that it's only 99 cents. I'll buy the expansion to this game I definitely shouldn't be pouring my time into as a married man, but these anime girls are so cute, and holy shit, they look young. Is this even legal? Maybe I should think about therapy. I don't feel wrong, but crazy people never do. Dear God, how did I get here? I was happy once. Sorry, folks. Sometimes free associating can be liberating, cathartic, but incredibly disturbing experience. So where was I? Oh yeah. Well, thank God for the security and beautiful working conditions of a picturesque company like Steve Jobs' ego. Meanwhile, my kid managed to bankrupt me via Minecraft, in part thanks to factory workers in China that decided not to commit suicide at a dead-end job in a communist country. Apple will continue limiting any buttons or external links that will direct purchases away from the apps. Never mind the fact that if you're big enough, looking at you, Walmart, you probably have a little leverage deciding whether Apple gets a cut or not. So what's the takeaway here? Apple sees how important electronic transactions will continue to be, and they are happy to hide behind the guise of innocence. Gosh, we just want to provide a safe, useful phone and tool for your life forever and secure all transactions against those scammers. You can trust us. Meanwhile, cryptocurrencies and blockchain transactions have them rocked back on their heels, and if they don't find a way to keep siphoning your money away from you faster than The Bachelorette puts out new episodes, it's revolution time, baby. I don't know who the players will be in World War III, but World War IV is going to be Apple users against people still in denial about the paperweight they call an Android. And it's going to last 5 seconds until there's a new Android faction that wants to integrate but can't do it fast enough to stop the Steve Jobs clones from sweeping across every town. It's cute the way Android users still insist that their phone is more flexible and they can do mind-bending tricks like change the fucking battery. I had an iPhone 8 for 5 years. 0 new batteries, 0 new phones, and 0 evidence besides anecdotal. Suck it, Samsung. In the latest edition of No, You Still Can't Get Paid to Lazily Click Buttons on a Screen Without Some Kind of Skill, fraudsters took over the Twitter account for crypto exchange Gate.io and tried to convince you of exactly that. On October 21st, hackers took over Gate.io's official Twitter account and tried to convince people they were giving away $500,000 if only you would just click on this link right here and connect your crypto wallet. It's official, we swears it. In a move that will haunt us, 30 or 40 somethings, with words like, okay, boomer, and your doctor saying it's time to switch to decaf, all you had to do was realize that your Nigerian prince was too good to be true, not that into you, and a fake in the first place, so just don't click on the link, you gullible little shit. The one constant through that persists for me in situations like this is that they wouldn't keep doing it if people stopped falling for it. Here's a $5, kiddos. Now be a dear and buy yourself a clue. Speaking of clues, if you haven't been living under a rock, you might have noticed some new changes to your Twitter feed lately. As Elon Musk has begun moving forward with his new Twitter acquisition, hiring and firing people, people seem to be already noticing a difference in the algorithm on their feeds, except that this is a stupid notion, and nothing has changed yet except that people once again want you to believe that something that is too good to be true is in fact happening. What about this idea? It's still a fucking algorithm. So if more people than usual engage with a who's not seeing my tweets kind of tweet, guess what? More fucking people will see it. Yeah, I could screenshot multiple pages of people asking, why aren't your tweets showing up on my feed? Not really, my following isn't that big. But remember what that typically means. When you get the same message responding to your tweets over and over from different accounts, yeah, you've got bots. And literally nothing has changed. Yet. Power to you, Elon. Unfuck us, please, because we obviously can't be bothered to do it on our own and would rather live in a fantasy land where we literally build computers inside of computers with all the annoyingly abundant free time we have. Until then, folks, probably not much more going on than usual. That is to say, we're doing the Joey Crypto thing and looking for love in all the wrong places. In our next story, Joey Crypto has managed to stay out of politics yet again. No, I hear your pleas, your cries for help. Please, Joey, make fun of the candidates. Make fun of the president. I guarantee you I would make fun of everyone in painfully true fashion, and you wouldn't believe me because I don't sound enough like a conspiracy theorist. Politics is bland and full of people that could have been good, but in one form or another have sold themselves out. I will never do such a thing for the sake of likes. Fuck all your candidates equally. They all suck because they want the fucking job. Moving along to a totally apolitical topic that the government is never involved in, money. How's that interest rate going? Did you lock in a cheap mortgage better than a stalker building a soundproof room in his basement? Did you put that lotion on the skin as you paid for that inflated home prices installment, hoping that you'll find some way to cut back on Starbucks lattes and actually budget your money well for once? Me either. The Fed's going in dry, with rates currently at levels so inflated that they're competing with Jake Paul's ego for pounds per square inch of air pressure. Maybe we need to schedule a fight with a washed-up old champion who's obviously retired, mimicking the arguably more douchey Paul brothers' latest attempt. Fuck. I don't even know where that... Oh, fuck. Gonna edit that one out. Fuck, it's my router from work. The Fed is going in dry, with rates currently at levels so inflated that they're competing with Jake Paul's ego for pounds per square inch of air pressure. maybe we need to schedule a fight with a washed-up old champion who's obviously retired, mimicking the arguably more douchey Paul Brothers' latest attempt at validating his boxing career when he fought Anderson Silva. And make Jerome Powell square off with Argentina's central bank to give him the hard-on he needs to save our American way of cheap debt, life. Dust-ups with wash-ups aside, I'm not entirely sure I would stress about it at the moment. Dust-ups with wash-ups aside, I'm not entirely sure I would stress about it ATM, meaning at the moment. Not automatic teller machine or ass-to-mouth. Since pretty much everything financially is going to suck for a while and you should plan accordingly. That being said, the time to plan was the last 2 years. One thing crypto people have been dead right about is inflation being on its way, which is great for our track record, bringing it up to 1% correct instead of 0% correct. Yeah, we know Bitcoin was supposed to hit 200K in 2021, but damn it if we didn't hit that inflation thing on the nose. So, did anybody plan for it? Did you follow Dave Ramsey's advice and pile up cash to prepare for the downturn? I know I sure did, and I put it in a safe place to get some yield and beat inflation. Drum roll, please. I stuck it in Voyager Digital's loyalty program, and they stuck it back in me violently and without remorse. So, what have we learned from all this so far? Have any of us been more conservative with our spending, skipping the unnecessary streaming services and dining experiences? Did we start saving money every day because even with inflation, everybody needs an emergency fund? Did we stop taking out loans that we can't afford on shit we don't need in an effort to keep up with the Joneses who, by the way, are on the verge of bankruptcy? Or is it maybe that we don't mind taking it harder than the brain bug getting probed in Starship Troopers, as long as there's a less than 1% chance that going out and having sex will make everything randomly work out? Fuck yes, baby. I am Ajax, and I'm buying more Powerball tickets. Full send. Folks, that's about all the time we have for today, and while I do love the sound of my own voice, I have to get back to my part-time job at the Glory Hole. My wife's boyfriend bought a double session today, and he even tips on occasion. Before you go tonight, don't forget that all is not lost, and you can probably get away with skipping your mortgage payments for up to 2 years. That is before the police will eventually kick down your door and drag you out of your house kicking and screaming for squatting. So take heart. There's always a shitty alternative. I'm Joey Crypto. You guys keep on making news, and I'll keep bitching about it and seeking your approval while I pretend to not be trying that hard. Good night, everyone.